What's up, good people? It's your man LA Cheatham with a reaction to that Bears Rams divisional playoff game. I got my man Benjamin Banneker. Penn,
Yeah.
I figured the fan base needed a few days.
No, you figured
Um,
a few days.
and I really want to know how you feel about this. How do you come out of this divisional playoff game? Thanks for watching the game with us. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe and share the videos. Thanks for watching. Before we get into it, Penn, what's up?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Was that game was Sunday, and as we recording this, it's like what 4 days later.
Yeah,
Uh,
we need a you need a look.
I
I
need
figure
to,
the fan base needs a little time.
yeah. Put it like this: after the game ended, I just laid in the floor and went to sleep. That's with my clothes on, everything. Like that was it for the night. So, uh, yeah. You know what? For me, I know a lot of people was comparing this year's Bears team to the 2015 Cubs. It's like they was a year early, but the way I was looking at it, like it's so hard to compete year in and year out in the NFL and just get to the Super Bowl. I'm looking at it like this our moment, this our shot. I can't be concerned about we are a year early or next year when we really get a defensive edge and all. I couldn't be concerned about that. I was trying to take advantage of the opportunity right here, right now, and being that they lost the game the way they did, like the Rams didn't beat us. I feel like the Bears kind of gave that game away. Like once you get past the 4th and 4 miracle touchdown, like he did it again. He made another outstanding play to top the week that he did before. Once you get past that, you can't turn the ball over 3 times. It was a lot of play calling questions that I had for Ben Johnson and for your defense, who has been tremendously suspect all year, to go out and hold the Los Angeles Rams to 17 regulation points, and you pitched that one away. Like, I really felt like the Bears should be in the NFC Championship game. Now, if they lost in Seattle, okay, but they was not supposed to lose that game when it was kind of on a silver platter for them. We go back, we hear Michael Jordan say a lot that game had "steal me" written all over it, and then he had to go steal that game. That game has "steal me" written all over it, and the fact that they lost it how they did, that was what was so disappointing and hurtful to me. Like everybody saying the future bright. No, we was 2 games away this year. I don't want to go through another draft, offseason, mini camps, OTAs, training camp, and then a whole nother 17 games just to get back to this point we was here this year. So that's where I was at. Um, Overall, great season. One of the most memorable Bear seasons that was gonna go down in history. But just that game, how they lost that one stung. That one stung.
Um, as I'm going through this season with the success that they had, I we didn't go into this season thinking that they would get to this point. We didn't go into this season think that they would be a playoff team. Many people thought that they were better immediately at the coaching position, and they knew that Caleb had talent. But the biggest question going into this season was if the coach and the quarterback could click, and then other stories unfolded. The defense that led the league in take turnovers. Um, the running game that eventually got going that I think was a big part in Caleb's development and allowing him to become a better quarterback. And that's the part that most fans probably overlook. And when you get to the end of the season, that was the part of the that was the part of the that was the aspect of the winning that had kind of gotten away from the running game. And it seemed like after that San Francisco game, it seemed like things they it seems like that's when I thought that Ben Johnson's play calling began to lean a little bit more towards featuring or trying to get the passing game going. And maybe he sacrificed the running game. And maybe he even felt that those games in particular were more served matched up to throw the ball more. But the running game, I think, in the last maybe 3 to 4 weeks going into the divisional playoff game was the one thing that tailed off. Now, don't get me wrong, because Kyle Monangai, when he had the opportunities, he did look good. He did run hard at times. And I think DeAndre Swift, his production wasn't exactly the same, even though he did, see the end zone from time to time. But the production wasn't the same, and the impact of the running game wasn't the same going down towards the end of the season. Now, this game in particular, I was driving. I think I was up the bank on Saturday afternoon, or just before noon, and I'm getting in the car and I'm listening to sports talk radio, and I hear that the Rams were getting into Chicago at 6 o'clock Saturday evening. That's when my mind shifted towards this game in particular, as far as the outcome of the game and the matchups, whatever. Now, that's when I was starting to say, you know what? Even though I've been saying it all year, I'm suspended, but I got to be honest about, how I saw things going into this game in particular. When I heard that the Rams were getting into Chicago 6 o'clock p.m. on Saturday evening before a Sunday night game, not even just a little bit under 24 hours before the game to kick off, I was like, that sounds like an advantage for the Bears. You would think that the Rams would have got to Chicago a couple days early, maybe, found a place to go practice, walk through so they can get, acclimated to the weather. Didn't happen. Now, once the game kicked off, it looked like, to me, it looked as if the Rams weren't as affected by the weather as the Bears were, because the Bears had all the drops. Breaking news right now. Let me hold that thought. The Ravens have hired the Chargers defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, as their head coach, the Baltimore Ravens. Jesse Minter is the coach of the Baltimore Ravens. That's our first ever breaking news report. Live as we speak. It just happened. I just seen it go down. Adam Scheffler has just reported it in real time. And if you watching us on Watch the Game, you know that now that Jesse Minter is the new head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. We can get to the rest of that's when we can check off the list. We can get to the rest of those coaching hires later on in the show. But that's when I felt like that the Rams were at a disadvantage. But when the game started, the one of the biggest telling things, and it's amazing how seasons play out and how in one game, it always seems, I don't care if it's a basketball team or football team, That one game that ends your season always is a telltale sign of so many things that didn't go right during your regular season. And when the first drop was that should have been a touchdown catch by Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
That one play, and it's amazing how it happens because that one play kind of tells the story of that entire game, the way it unfolded. And also, it could have a telling. It was so many things that happened in this one game. There was a reflection of the season, and that includes the catch, the miraculous throw and catch, throw by Caleb, catch by
Cole.
Cole Kmet. You know, and in my opinion, I don't think Chicago's so enamored and so hell bent on getting a franchise quarterback. They it seems like for me, they tend to not to give the guys on the other end their credit. See, because Cole Kmet made himself available to make that catch. Caleb did the only thing he could do, which was throw that ball up. He did a hell of a job of eluding the rush. I mean, it was very unfundamental. And he threw it up for grabs, but that was the only thing he could do. You know, you got to give him credit for that. But Cole Kmet made a play. Now, I don't care how you want to look at it. You can say it was a great throw. It was a little bit of both. It was a lot of both. Okay, but in my opinion, and I blame this on sports media, ESPN and Fox Sports. It's like the quarterback is the only guy on the field making plays. And Cole Kmet made a hell of a play. The question is, was it offensive pass interference? I thought about that, but they didn't call it. So it wasn't. It's in the books. Touchdown. Now, physicality. I think the Rams, Matthew Stafford didn't throw no touchdown passes.
He tried to give us one. We didn't get it.
Yeah, and I think in overtime, they took some chances they shouldn't have took. You know, when they were throwing the ball down the field, they were trying to score a touchdown at the end. At least trying to get in much deeper. I think they had the same approach on their first overtime possession that the Bears had on their overtime possession. And they were trying to get, deep in the red zone because I don't think either one of these teams wanted their field goal kickers to attempt a really big, like 50-yard kicks. I think they wanted to be more like 25, 30 yards in that range. And I think both of the coaches were making play calls to get them at least in those, in those makeable ranges. And McVay and Johnson, I think they both went around overtime the same way. We want a chip shot kick if we can get it. A touchdown would be great, but I think both coaches were trying to get their field goal kickers in chip shot position. And unfortunately, now the Bears defense, like you said, they played well, held his team to 20 points. I think the Rams, they supposedly had the best offense in the league, the highest scoring offense in the league. Bears defense, after much criticism, held them to 20 points. And you would think, and that's the thing too, Ben Johnson feels, I heard him speak once before early in the season. He was saying, I think it was after the Lions game. He was like, when you keep a team, if he feels that if his defense can keep a team under 20 points, his offense should be good enough to score more than 20 points. And the things that happened in this game was almost similar to the Lions game because that game was a defensive struggle too. But The score was almost similar. I can't remember what the Lions game, the final the season ending game against the Lions, what that final score was. But this game was similar to that one. And Matthew Stafford didn't have a great game. And for all of the people that was talking about the weather, the bad weather, Kyron Williams, Notre Dame, and Blake Corum, University of Michigan. I don't believe these guys were affected by the weather. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, Kyron Williams, Notre Dame, Blake Corum, Michigan. If you go through this roster, the weather wasn't a factor because a lot of these guys probably came from cold weather cities anyway, playing in high school, playing in college. And this was just, I believe the Rams just got more confidence as they figure, hey, we in it. We in it. Puka Nacua made some plays here or there. But I don't think the weather was a bigger factor as most people thought. I mean, if you could probably say that it slowed both offenses down, but the defenses, man, this game was physical in the trenches. Brisker, I think he had a pretty good game. One of his best performances as a Bear. They didn't get any turnovers, but the Bears lose the turnover battle. 3 picks by Caleb. And it brings me to another conclusion. Is it ever Caleb's fault?
Well, that's where we was kind of talking in the pre-show about it, and then it just crossed my mind. You was talking about the Rams ready for the cold. You got to remember too, Devontae Adams played in Green Bay a long time.
Yeah,
Stafford played in Detroit a long time. Like he played for the Lions, so 8 games was in the dome, but then he had to go to Chicago. He had to go to Green Bay. So, I mean, I thought the weather thing was kind of not overblown, but when you sit there and really break it down, I think Puka Nacua didn't he go to like Utah or something like that?
I had intended on looking that up early, but I never got to it. But maybe he did. I don't know.
Yeah, so like you said, a lot of these guys had played in a lot of cold weather environments before. So I mean, and at this level, NFL team other than the Dolphins, who just don't really win games when it's like 32 degrees or lower. I knew that the Rams would come and be ready to play, especially divisional round. Like if they was gonna let the weather be a factor and control they effort and how they played in the game, then they ain't deserve to be there. They wasn't really one of the best teams in the NFL this year. And they came and they kind of showed, their grit and what they was about as a football team because the weather didn't affect them that much. But it did, I will say, the Bears defense did affect Stafford in the game. Stafford has looked like an MVP front runner all year long, led the league in 45 touchdown passes. He's got the number 1 pass catcher in Puka. He had 129 receptions this year. He got the number 1 touchdown receiver in Devontae. And he didn't throw a touchdown pass all game. And that deep, I kept saying during the game, real time, I said, Dennis Allen is on fire because
you took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say that.
How they looked from the divisional to the wild card round where they couldn't get no pressure. He was dialing up them edge blitzes with the corners coming from the slot. That was something we really hadn't seen a lot this year. This was one of the first games where a lot of the secondary was healthy. We got a lot of good performances across the board from the secondary. I'm hard on Jalen Johnson. Jalen made a couple plays. You already mentioned Brisker. Kyler Gordon's game was tremendously better from when he played in the wild card round. Now, given
and you got coming off those injuries, he probably needed a game under his belt
to knock that rust off. And he had a Tyreek Stevenson sighting. We hadn't really been seeing a lot of him because Nahshon Wright, you got to keep him on the field. But the Bears, what they have just lived on all year was takeaways. They led the league in takeaways. I think they had like 33 takeaways all year. They had multiple opportunities to get takeaways where the ball would pop up in the air and they just couldn't come down with it, or ball was on the ground, they just couldn't pick it up. But on the flip side, you give it away 3 times. And I mentioned this, when we started the show, and you kind of touched on it too, about the play calling where Ben Johnson kind of went away from the running game. I thought when that game got to the second half and Rome missed the first one, so that should have been a touchdown right there. But the very next play was an interception. Now that should have been roughing the passes because it was hands to the face.
Mm-hmm.
We should have been able to continue that drive, but NFL refs, they don't really seem to be that dependable when you need them. So it is what it is. They ain't call it, so it goes down as an interception. So when Caleb threw the second interception, I thought that he wasn't really seeing the middle of the field that well. So from the rest of the game, anything he threw over the middle of the field, I was holding my breath.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, listen, Swift and Monangai have to win this game. Lean on the run game to win the game. Your defense is playing great. You got the miracle pass to get it to overtime. This is Swift and Monangai on the way out. Now, I understand that Joe Thuney had to move out to left tackle. That wasn't your offensive line that you had all year.
Yep.
But if your principle is going to be, we're going to run the rock, and you see your quarterback has 2 turnovers already. You see drops that plagued the team already. Colston Loveland had a drop. Rome had a drop. I think DJ had a drop. It's already questions about did DJ quit on the route, or I think he was live on that route. Whatever the case may be, you only needed 1 more first down.
Yeah, and that was 2nd and 8. It was 2nd and 8, I come away thinking that the play call could be in question. The decision to make to where you threw the ball can be in question, and the communication between DJ and Caleb. It's been described that this was a route concept that they had been working on, pretty much most recently installed, and DJ him and Caleb didn't have the communication thing down. Then there's I don't know if you remember a play in particular when DJ hit his head he was out of bounds and hit his head on the ground. So then a lot of fans and sports media was saying whether he was concussed because he had supposedly went into the blue tent and then came back. And we have been seeing DJ do this all year.
Yeah.
He would get banged up and he'd limp back into the huddle, or he'd get banged up and he'd go to the sideline, take a couple plays off and get back in the game. His toughness shouldn't be questioned.
Yeah.
His commitment to making plays shouldn't be in question. And that's what I'm, you talked about it. It seemed like that game was 2 weeks ago now, but immediately a day or so, it took about a day, maybe a couple days, for me to hear people in media speak on the fact that maybe it wasn't DJ's fault, because that night, that's all you heard. DJ's effort. DJ should have broke that, and maybe he should have broke the pass up. But I'm on the thought that maybe DJ look, I'm supposed to draw attention. This ball ain't supposed to be coming to me because we don't need this big play. And that's why I question Caleb's decision to make the pass, because Cam Curl was breaking on the ball immediately. And it's almost like he was baited into it. It's so many different ways of looking at that play. And depending on what you want to believe, you can come up with all kind of narratives to the conclusion or whatever. whose fault it was, whether or not Cam Curl baited him, made a great play. But at the end of the day, one thing we know is Cam Curl made a hell of a play. Because even the catch itself in those conditions, because he bobbled that ball on the ground, and that ball could have went, anywhere. And if you ever caught a ball in the freezing cold, football, that thing is not hard. I mean, it's a hard ball to catch. Cam Curl made a hell of a play, and but like I said,
I think blame got to be on 33%. I DJ get 33, Caleb
okay,
get 33, Ben
and
Johnson get 33.
Ben Johnson get 33. If you look at the play again, some say Rome was open in the middle of the field. We definitely seen that Kyle Monangai was open. He wasn't, and he didn't have first down yardage,
But it
but
was
he was
8.
probably capable of making one guy miss and putting them right smack dead in the middle of the field in position to kick a field goal. Now, remember I told you they had to get me past the double doink stage for me to be a believer. I told you, NFC championship game or bust. You don't have to win it. You have to get there. So technically, they didn't get the job done. Okay? They didn't get the job done. Came so close. Didn't get the job done. Okay? Now, your feeling about how did you the double doink compared to this game, the way it ended. If you could go back, can you compare the two feelings? Can you just is this one worse or what?
This one is worse because I think the double doink game. There have been questions about Cody Parkey all year, the field kicker, and they never addressed it. So when that happened, it was like you could kind of see this coming.
Yeah.
But with the Bears and how this season unfolded, it got to be like, when Mike got the ball with 4 seconds left.
You started to get to
expect
to win. You know what I mean? That brings up another question because I get really sensitive about this. Do you compare this Caleb Williams experience to Michael Jordan?
I heard Mike Wilbon say that. He said it's too
the
early.
Michael Jordan experience. Okay, go ahead.
He said that it's too early to tell, but this might be when Mike went to Boston and got 63 in the Garden. They lost, and it was overtime. But it was like letting you know how great this guy can be if he can stay healthy and things keep moving in the right direction. That's what he compared it to. And I just think it's really hard to make that comparison because football is such a team game and injuries really dictate how things go from year to year. Yes, it looks bright. It looks like we got the right coach. It looks like we finally got the right quarterback back in. Now, some things he got to do. You can't be last in the league in completion percentage. You just cannot. You can't do that. But everything outside of that, it looks like we finally going to have the offensive side of the ball right for the next 10 years if everything falls in our favor. But
and see, that's another thing I have a problem with. Look here, man. This 10-year window that everybody just gives these man, look, let me tell you. I'm a 3-year guy. You know this. I don't care if it's I don't care if it's a coach or a player. I don't care what sport it is. I'm a 3-year guy. 3 years of consistently playing at a high level. 3 years, especially in the NFL. 3 years of consistently coaching at a high level. This is the reason why. Kyler Murray, just 3 years ago, was a thing. Tua Tagovailoa just 2 years ago was the thing. The Miami Dolphins had the most potent offense in the league just 2 years ago. This is the NFL. And you look at how these coaches get poached from one team to another, the promotions. That's one thing that I've come to understand and try to get better with as a fan.
So, as in the Bear situation, I think it's safe to say that Ben is your play caller, so you ain't got to worry about the offensive coordinator. And then the defensive side, Dennis Allen already had 2 opportunities, and he's probably not going to get another opportunity to get a coaching job again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can feel safe in the head of this monster staying together. Those guys. So that's why it gives me that leeway to say, okay, you know, if without injuries, I think you got the coaching staff in place. I think the quarterbacks is in place. And if everything continues to move forward, you know, I think things are going to be bright. I think you got your guy for the next 10 years. But I'm not saying he's a finished product or anything like that. Because like I said, last in the league in completion percentage, that's unacceptable. Like, that's unacceptable.
It ain't Michael Jordan. It ain't Mike. It ain't Mike. It ain't Mike. It's not Mike. And I know I got my feelings about Caleb, but
well, I ain't gonna say nothing. Nobody's Mike. We ain't never gonna see Mike.
Look at man. Look when you start putting people on Mike's level, even Tom Brady's level, because I don't think Patrick Mahomes is. I think he's years away from that. You just can't and I know from a marketing standpoint, you want to put guys in place to keep these machines rolling. Look here, man. Winning at a high level isn't easy. Year after year after year. Hell, Mike retired twice. The first time he retired and came back, and you know, the Bulls organization was still set up.
Yeah.
You know, for them to win. The 2 years or the year and a half he took off showed us that, because the Bulls won 55 games. So this is what I'm getting to. As great as Mike was, the system was in place. And then that's when we learned about the system. When Mike left, we had a chance to really understand and appreciate just how much the system was at work. The system wasn't for Mike to score points. The system was to get the most out of the rest of the guys so that they can win championships. Because Michael Jordan could have played in any system, you would like to think. Now, when we talk about Caleb Williams, it's a difference. What a difference a year makes. But I'm not putting him on Mike's level, because coaching matters probably more in football than any other sport. He's been set up with a good offensive head coach. The roster construction was much better, starting with the offensive line. The weapons that he had around him was probably the best that we've seen since Mark Trestman's guys. I mean,
I say this might be the most weapons he will have in his career.
You're right, because the window to win a championship is like right now, because once they decide to pay him, look at what Patrick Mahomes is going through in KC. The window to win a championship for the Bears is now. That's why when you reflect on the fact that you was in it, and when you're in it, you have to do the best you can to win it, because the way the NFL is set up, once you pay that quarterback, that he really has to be the dude.
And we was the number 2 seed this year, so we had 2 home games. It wasn't like we was like a 6 seed and we won the first game and then we went on and you know, to the divisional and lost on the road. Like, you had 2 games at the crib
Yeah.
to get to the NFC Championship. I'm saying this was you got to take advantage of your opportunities. So I can't say like, oh, this the 2015 Cubs. I can't subscribe to that theory. I can't.
No. It ain't. And I was just told a buddy of mine at work, this ain't the Jordan Bulls either. This isn't the Jordan Bulls because even they had a process of growth. This is NFL, man, and it ain't the '85 Bears. Okay, this is more similar to me to the 2018 Bears because no one expected that team to be as good as they were. They had a really good defense. We knew the defense was good, but the difference between this 2018 defense and the 2025 defense was the 2018 guys, they took the ball away and scored points. And they were more expected to win because of that defense. Now, Matt Nagy didn't want to commit to running the football. And you could argue that had he committed even then to running the football, the double doink, the attempt probably would have been a better attempt. Because he never committed to Jordan Howard in the run game. It's almost like he was trying to avoid Jordan Howard from being successful in the run game. That was the workhorse, man. Now this Bears team, defense got turnovers. They didn't score points, but they did put the offense in position. This is the thing. The offense never really took full advantage of all of those turnovers. They came up with a lot of field goals. So just to re-sum it back up, we didn't expect 2018 to be what it was. We didn't expect 2025 to be what it was. This year was about a lot of miraculous comebacks, opportunistic defense. We eventually got a running game going. The offensive line was legit. The only thing you could question at times was the special teams. And with all these come from behind victories or late game, heroics, that's what this team was about. That's what the 2025 Bears was about.
The 2025 Bears was a combination of 2018 and what was that year where Mike Brown had the back-to-back walk-off touchdowns?
You taking me back.
Yeah, it was a combination of that, and it was sustained for longer because they was doing it week in and week out.
Yeah, you're right. Mike Brown had a walk-off touchdown against the Browns that season. I can't remember what year it was.
Back-to-back
and the 49ers. Yeah. 2 weeks in a row, he had pick sixes to go in the end zone and win touchdown?
Yeah.
I can't remember what year that was, but you're exactly right. It's eerie similar to that. Pushing forward. Now you got the Rams. Get ready for this.
Disclaimer, I will not be watching any football on Conference Championship Sunday because I'm still salty. Okay.
All right. Well, I will. Because it's all the football we got left, and I'm damn sure going to be watching. But are you ready for Velus Jones and the Seattle Seahawks to take on the Los Angeles Rams? I got to go with Velus and the Seahawks on this game. The Seahawks look a lot of people thought that with the Seahawks having that week off, that they would have some rust. And with this big quarterback narrative, everybody want to talk about the quarterback. There's only two guys on the field. It's the two quarterbacks. I know that. Yeah. Who you talking about before I get ahead of myself?
Sam Darnold. He got the oblique issue.
Well, they was talking about the oblique before that game.
Oh, okay.
Right? But this is my thing. That wasn't about Sam Darnold. That game was about, first and foremost, the Seahawks get a Devin Hester-like gift. They run back the opening kickoff into the end zone, and the party got started. The 12th man got started. The 12th man got going. So if you were concerned about having a week off and getting rusty, they answered those questions really quick on special teams. So that game with the Seahawks, if Sam Darnold,
They beat the 49ers, right?
yeah,
Okay.
if Sam Darnold had an oblique issue, that was exactly what he needed to happen. An opportunity to go out, work through that injury, knock off maybe a little bit of rust from being off a week, and the defense is rolling. Special teams give you a touchdown before you even touch the field, and they just dominated the 49ers. I don't remember what the final score was, but they just dominated the 49ers.
1-6, I think.
Yeah, they just dominated the 49ers. So, and when you look at the way the Rams, when you look at how Dennis Allen exposed the Rams to a degree. Now he dialed up a couple blitzes. The thing about Seattle is they don't have to blitz. They can do it with their front four. So they can get home without blitzing. But Dennis Allen exposed the Rams, in my opinion. Now, if Seattle can stop the run, you would probably think that Seattle's going to dominate this game as well. They look like the most impressive team based on last week. Out of the 4 teams that are still remaining, they look more impressive than any other team, mainly because of how they just played on all 3 phases. Sam Darnold didn't have to do much, but they got the win. Velus Jones got a couple carries. You know, they got Velus is a running back now for the Seattle Seahawks.
What's his number? Is he 12 still?
32. 32. They moved it. He changed his number to 32. And so Velus Jones got an opportunity to go Super Bowl, baby. So after all of the criticism, he couldn't catch the ball and all that. Now Velus is in the NFC Championship game, leading the Seattle Seahawks against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going with the Velus and the Seahawks. They were just impressive to me.
I'm going with the Seahawks, and I'm going simply on the strength of the Ram. Like, I really don't like the Rams uniform. I really don't want to see them on Super Bowl Sunday. I like their black ones.
Okay, that's all right. They had a set of uniforms that you actually liked. I remember
black ones. Mm-hmm. I really don't. I don't like they number font. I don't like that plasticky look they got on the number. I don't like none of that. I don't like the color combination. Nothing. So I really don't want to see the Rams on my TV Super Bowl Sunday with them uniforms on, and then have to hear Bad Bunny at halftime too. Look, it's bad enough. Seattle, just go ahead and win it. Just go ahead and win it. Win the whole thing, because I don't want to see Denver win it, and I damn sure don't want to see the Patriots win it.
Oh well, okay. So that takes me to that other game, the Patriots and the Broncos. Now Jarrett Stidham, he'll be starting for the Broncos. Bo Nix was injured. Looked like he was injured on one of them last 2 plays of the final, you know, in regulation to win their game against who was that, Buffalo they beat?
Buffalo, yeah.
And Buffalo fired their coach. I mean, we get into these coaching changes real soon too. But the Patriots, I have to think I gotta pick the Patriots only because we haven't seen Jarrett Stidham in 2 years. I don't think he started a game in 2 years. He hasn't had a meaningful pass in 2 years. But with that being said, Sean Payton is the coach. So what can Sean do to put Jarrett Stidham and the Seahawks? I mean, not the Seahawks, but the Broncos in position to win. The defense is for real, and the defenses. the Rams probably have the worst defense left in the play in the championship games.
On the back end. Yeah.
Yeah, on the back end. And see, that's the thing because to get back on the Rams, I had been hearing for a couple weeks all this criticism about their secondary. But against the Panthers and against the Bears, the secondary stepped up a little bit. So, but um New England, I'm gonna go with New England because I don't know enough about Jared Stidham. We don't really know, what to expect from him. But Nick Foles sent him a shout out.
I
See,
saw that. I saw that.
yeah, Nick Foles is kind of reminding us that Jared Stidham got a shot because he was in the same position with the Eagles where he had to take over for who did he take over for that year when they won? Damn, it'll come to me. But see, that's the thing. When the Eagles won with Nick Foles, they were the top. They were the top 5, top 3 team in rushing the football. So I believe that the Broncos, if they're gonna do it, they got to run the hell out the football. The defense got to be great. They got to get some turnovers. Most definitely got to get some turnovers to put Jared Stidham in position to win this football game.
So
But I'm gonna go with New England.
You got the Super Bowl 49 rematch instead of the Super Bowl 48 rematch.
I guess you were New England and the Seahawks.
Yeah, that was 49.
Yeah.
48 was Seahawks and Broncos.
Okay, so both
Yeah.
of those are still a possibility, but we both agree that Seahawks will be there.
Yeah. I'm going with the Seahawks. I don't trust Sam Darnold more than I trust Stafford, but those games they played this year it's just like the Bears and the Packers. It was like splitting hairs. They bite us both times. This is about to be the third time that they played. That game is in Seattle this year. With Kenneth Walker, I just think I heard that Charbonnet is gonna play.
Okay, because I heard he was injured. He
Uh,
was a little banged up.
yeah, I heard he was banged up,
But they got Valus.
oh yeah, well that put him over the top. So
They got Valus had a couple carries in that game against can't remember who they against the 49ers.
Yeah.
They beat the 49ers so bad we forget they was on the damn field.
That's probably why Valus got carries because they were
hey, Valus got in the game. Valus got a shot to go to the Super Bowl, man. Hey, don't knock Valus, man. Hey, can't hate on Valus now, but Seahawks, Patriots, and we thinking that's gonna be the Super Bowl. They're going a couple weeks in between. Earlier I talked about Jesse Mentor getting the coaching job. He's the head coach in Baltimore. As we get ready to wrap up the show. Jesse Mentor is the coach in Baltimore. He's the new head coach for the Ravens. So, and now you got all these rumors too about whether or not Lamar Jackson will be traded. I don't see that happening. But there's been some coaching changes in the NFL really quick. John Harbaugh, probably the biggest name to come off the board and go from Baltimore to the Giants. And Robert Saleh went to Tennessee. Kevin Stefanski.
Say Robert Saleh is looking at a Dennis Allen type situation if he don't succeed in Tennessee.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something. When I heard that Robert Saleh, I don't know who his offensive coordinator is going to be in Tennessee, but when I heard that Robert Saleh was about to get this job, I immediately thought about Cam Ward and his development.
Yeah,
because I have to go back on Justin Fields. You get a guy, a defensive coordinator. Now, Robert Saleh was probably more deserving to be a head coach than Matt Eberflus was when he got the Bears job. So, but I just question, the most important thing you would think in Tennessee is the development of Cam Ward. And who they bring in at offensive coordinator is going to be a key. You were talking about
Yeah,
Dabo, but my thing is with Brian Dabo is, he was said to have a really good relationship when he was with Buffalo
with
with
Josh.
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
So I have to think that Brian Dabo will be a candidate to get that job in Buffalo. I think the fan base would I think obviously he fits the culture. He's been there before, and I believe I believe the fan base would welcome it. I believe because it was a lot of controversy as to why they even fired their coach in the first place, but that's been something they've been talking about for the past 2 years. And with all of the stories of Josh Allen not being able to get to the Super Bowl, and now all of a sudden Lamar Jackson ain't in it, Patrick Mahomes not in it, Joe Burrow's not in it. Neither one of them really good quarterbacks are there to stop you. And then the way he played in that last game, that's what he had, about 3 picks or something like that.
yeah. I think a couple fumbles. Yeah.
Yeah, so and it's hard that their head coach, the guy they fired, his
Sean
name
McDermott.
Sean McDermott.
I'm
So
gonna
them two, go ahead.
just be like, just keep it a bean. I think the reason Sean McDermott really got let go was timing and what had transpired across the rest of the league. The Ravens parted ways with John Harbaugh. Tomlin left the Steelers. McDermott had been there, I think, 9 years and hadn't got them over the hump. And I think the Bills just kind of looked at it like, you know what? This might be time to pull the plug. It wasn't that he was doing a bad job.
It wasn't about that game.
Yeah, it wasn't about that. And I just think they looked around the league and saw these other I guess I don't want to say cornerstone organizations, but upper tier organizations, especially the Steelers and the Ravens, making changes, and they was like, well, shit, we can't really justify keeping him, and we done paid Josh all this money and we ain't got nowhere, so we might as well throw our name in the hat too and get us a coach.
Yeah. So I think Brian Dabo may be somebody to look at on that job. Miami has named their coach as well. I can't remember who exactly it is right now, but they have replaced their coach already. So the Raiders, Cardinals, and Bills, I believe they still have coaching vacancies right now. Miami, Tennessee, Atlanta, Atlanta, Tennessee, and the Giants, and now the Ravens have identified their new head coaches. So, and I may even be missing another team without a coach.
Miami,
because it was like 9. It was a lot of. I don't know when we've seen this many coaching firings in an off season in a long time, if ever.
Yeah, it's usually like anywhere between like 4 and 6 jobs that come open in a cycle. 9 was a lot. That's damn near a third of the league. Yeah, Jeff Haley took that the Dolphins job, the OC from the Packers. The Steelers ain't hired nobody yet, right?
No. Steelers, Raiders, Cardinals, and Bills.
The Browns got somebody?
No, the Browns. That's the one team I was missing. They have not named a coach yet. So you can take the Ravens off the list, and you just added I forgot the Browns. So Browns, Raiders, Steelers, Cardinals, and Bills still have to replace their head coaches. And I think that
don't nobody want that Browns job.
Yeah, I think that job, the Browns job, will go to someone that there's probably not a popular head coach, but a guy that's going to take that opportunity. I'm going to take this opportunity because it's there, and just live with the situation. I mean, maybe somebody get that Browns job Yeah, we probably won't even
That's a
know
job.
this guy. He's probably way beyond under the radar.
That's a job of someone like a Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, you can say yeah, that type of hire, because it definitely ain't damn sure ain't gonna be Matt Eberflus. But that's that same type of hire. A guy that you be like, what? Who is that? Who
It-
is that? Then we have to go into his background and figure out who the hell he is. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. When Mike McDonald took his name out of consideration for that job, I like, oh, the Browns really in trouble.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Matt
gonna make it.
Matt Nagy's name is out there for a job.
Yeah, they I think the Titans was trying to hire him and then they pivoted.
Yeah. So he's out there. And the interesting thing about that is that the Chiefs have already filled that offensive coordinator position by Eric Bieniemy, coaching him from the Bears. He was the Bears running back coach. Now he returns back to Kansas City as the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. And the word is Matt Nagy's contract was up. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Matt Nagy.
I can see
With
Nagy in
these,
Cleveland.
I don't know if I'm going to be honest with you. I believe Matt Nagy's going to pick this. I think he's going to pick this job wisely, because his experience in Chicago, what he inherited in Chicago, and you have to think that the roster in Cleveland isn't bad. The quarterback situation isn't solidified. If you would think about who's it now, the question whether or not Shador can be an NFL starter, Deshaun Watson, are you gonna give him an opportunity to reclaim his?
He's still on the roster.
Yeah, he was still on the roster. Yes.
That
Hell,
man-
the Cleveland Browns, they had more quarterbacks on their payroll than anybody else in the league.
yeah,
I mean,
understand, but
Kenny
I thought he-
Pickett, they was, I think this
coming
year
off.
they was, huh?
I said I knew that. I thought Deshaun was finally, this was the last year of his deal, and he
No,
finally gonna come off.
Deshaun Watson is still at play in Cleveland. Hell, he was practicing at the end of the year.
Right. Yeah, that I knew that. I'm just saying I thought when they gave him that guarantee, what was it, $280 million. I thought it was like a 5-year deal. I thought they was at least going into year 5, or at least they could just, wash their hands of it now, like, and just the cap hit wasn't gonna be that much. I did not expect to hear his name to be in consideration going into the 2026 NFL season for the Browns quarterback job.
Listen, I think I said it at the end of the year. They guaranteed that man over 200 million bucks, right?
Was it 220 or 280, something like that?
We know it was over 200, probably
Yeah.
close to 3. Listen, that man ain't getting off that easy, man. He got to go out there, and he got to. Now he was injured, right? To solidify that you paid this guy, we all know it was probably a bad deal, and it's probably you probably figured it was a bad deal from the minute they made it, guaranteed. But the thing is, you cannot just let him walk out the door without giving him an opportunity to at least say he was injured. We gave him every opportunity to earn his 200 million bucks. So
Yes, I can.
this year,
He didn't play for them before, and he didn't do nothing. That's why
but
we
he
on the draft.
but he got injured. He
But-
didn't play well, but these last 2 seasons he's been injured. Okay, and if all that money wasn't guaranteed, they probably would have moved off of him. But the money was guaranteed. He got an NBA contract in the NFL. Okay, they're gonna make him go out there and play at least. I wouldn't be surprised if Deshaun Watson is the starter for the Cleveland Browns, at least for the first 4 to 6 weeks of next season.
Wow.
This is the reason why I say this. We all know that Shador is going to get an opportunity to win this job. They may even draft a quarterback. Dylan Gabriel, who knows? But you got to say that Deshaun Watson and Shador are at play to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. The question is, who's the coach going to be? How he feels about the quarterbacks in the quarterback room that he has already, and the position they'll be in to draft another one. Well, that's all the questions. And without them having a coach, those are all the questions in Cleveland. Garrett, whether or not you want to trade him or not. And to be honest with you, we talking way too much about the Cleveland Browns. But I'm just saying, I mean, hell, they need a head coach. They got that's the one team that I forgot that hadn't hired a head coach. We can talk way too much about the Cleveland Browns though. Anyway. College football. Did you get a chance and you know, I can understand if you didn't. Understand that your Wolverines won in the championship game and you probably tapped out weeks ago.
Yeah, if Michigan ain't in it, the hell with it. That's
But listen, I watched that game and evidently being a resident of the state of Indiana, you know, I can't really say I'm a fan of the Hoosiers, but I was a fan of the moment, so to speak.
Was it? Let me ask you this. Well, because I stay in the city. The city was just, you could feel the Bears just uniting the city, when they was making this run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was it like that in Indiana for the Hoosiers going on this run?
I can't say that I tapped into that energy.
Okay. All right.
If I followed a lot of friends and on social media platforms, yes. Some of my classmates that were alumni of Indiana, some of my high school classmates that went to Indiana, or they were posting, but that's about as close as I got to it outside of just wanting to see a good football game. And it was a good football game. But this is the thing. This is how I refuse to let the media sell me football. Because when you go to this game, it was all about Fernando Mendoza and Carson Beck. And I know we got to sell the quarterbacks. But this was a really good game. This game was impacted by defense, special teams, and offense. This game was impacted by all three phases. In the quarterback comparisons and all of the praises for Fernando Mendoza, I see a great personality. Yeah. I don't see a great quarterback.
Me either.
I see a marketable personality in the right place. And just to think of a guy like Mendoza ending up in Las Vegas, Sin City.
But I'm gonna give you.
I don't know if his person, and then there's just the reputation over the years of the black and silver, the Raiders, and then you get Mendoza. If they get Mendoza, I mean, it's like it's gonna be interesting. But I think he's a system. I don't think he's special.
No,
I believe he's definitely a game manager that can make some plays. I don't see spectacular. I don't see Caleb Williams. I don't see nothing special. I see a guy. I see him being a better version of J.J. McCarthy. Because he had an opportunity with a balanced running game. He had more of an opportunity to make plays in the passing game than J.J. McCarthy was ever asked at Michigan. And that's how I see Fernando Mendoza. Both win national championships, but had two different impacts. Go ahead.
I'm going to say JJ. I believe JJ is the better quarterback. Just physical tools, just watching them. I believe Fernando Mendoza, his comp, because I don't see it, like you said, great personality. I don't see NFL quarterback. I don't even see first round talent there. I think that's Gardner Minshew. That's what I think that is. That's what I think it is. That's Jeff Hostetler.
Oh wow.
That's what that is.
Okay. All right.
I can keep going. That is, I ain't gonna say Jeff George, because Jeff George was hella talented coming out.
Oh yeah. Jeff George, he was just he just wasn't the easiest guy to coach, or probably the easiest guy to get along with. The talent, he had the arm talent all day long, but yeah, well,
not even Ryan
Mendoza.
Fitzpatrick. He's not even that. He's not. He don't. Listen, I would caution whoever is really evaluating him to really evaluate him, because if you picking him, you're gonna be picking a new quarterback within 2 years.
Yeah, I think he was a product of everything that was represented with Indiana. He just happened to be the quarterback, not slighting his talent, but that roster was set up with a lot of experienced football players that came from a lot of they were grown men playing football. I don't want to get into the way that roster was constructed, because they did it within the rules and they won a national championship fair and square. And Cignetti,
we just talk about him, just the
yeah, Cignetti, he took advantage of this. He did everything that was possible for him to do in the system, and I believe Mendoza was a part of the system.
Yes, the Heisman fell to him, because your preseason candidates, they all kind of flamed out. You had
that
flamed out. Well,
yeah,
as far as a Heisman season,
yeah,
he didn't live up. Justice Haynes, the running back from Michigan, he didn't. He in the portal now. I don't know if he got picked up. He had 720 plus yards games with a touchdown. You could have put him in the conversation. Julian Sam, if he don't lose the Big Ten championship, he probably wins the Heisman, the quarterback for the Suckeyes. Like, there was a lot of guys. Ty Simpson looks like a better quarterback than Mendoza, but he just didn't have the year. It was a lot of guys that just didn't have the seasons they projected. And then here he comes IU. They undefeated, Cignetti, and we got to give it to somebody.
Yeah. It was a great story, and you had to put a face on it. Along with Indiana, he was a quarterback. He showed some. He's got some attributes in that game, in that championship game itself. He made a big play. I think it was fourth down, and he had you can't question his toughness. He had a really big, tough run down, touchdown run on fourth down late in that game to kind of. I don't know if that play sealed the deal for them, because they had another opportunity. Miami still had an opportunity to win that football game at the end, and then Indiana came up with a big pick.
I don't know why.
Say that again.
I said I'm just really bothered. It's not him. It's just like he's really getting this evaluation like he's going to be a franchise quarterback or a first round talent, and I'm like, so you'll take him over Drew Aller? You really take him over Drew Aller? You telling me if Mendoza was eligible to play college football again, let's just say Bryce Underwood transferred out of Michigan, you telling me that's a suitable answer at quarterback? Michigan would go into the portal to pick up Mendoza? Hell no.
Hey,
I'm Raiola over him. Patrick Mahomes clone. I take it like, oh my God. Okay, all right, go ahead.
well, I think it's pretty clear how you feel about Fernando Mendoza. My point is this: I'm not going to let media, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, any other social media or sports media platform dictate to me how I watch football. And I want to pull up the stats from that game That's what I want to talk about. The stat line. Can you pull up the stat line from that national championship game?
Yeah, hold on.
Carson Beck and Fernando Mendoza were the quarterbacks. The way the rosters are constructed is these are grown men playing football. Uh, you spend big money, you get an opportunity to play in a championship football game. But statistically, when you look at this game, you can almost say that Carson Beck had a better game.
Oh yeah, here I give you the stats. Carson Beck, 19 out of 32, 232, one tub and one pick. The pick was to seal the game
At the end of the game.
Yeah, and then he shouldn't have threw that ball. By the way, I did see that play. Mendoza 16 for 27, 186, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He did score a rushing touchdown, but I mean his rushing stats was 7 carries, -8 yards.
So this is what I mean when I say I do not allow the media to sell me on how to watch a football game. And that Indiana had a big play on special teams. They blocked the punt, recovered it for a touchdown. And that's why we got this platform. That's why I got it. Watch the game. That's why we put it together. Watch the game. Because the things they tell you on TV, they just selling you something, man. This wasn't a great quarterback duel. That was a physical football game. It was a good football game. Guys make plays in all 3 phases. And that's just how I see football. And now we're getting ready for these NFC championships and AFC championship games. It's going to be interesting to see who wins those games and going to the Super Bowl. I believe what you think is the biggest storyline for the NFL right now. Let's just play some Walt Disney as we wrap up.
All right. Biggest storyline going into the conference championship week, or just
let's just head into the Super Bowl. What do you think the NFL and Walt Disney want to see? Where's the Super Bowl being played at this year?
San Francisco.
Santa
Clara.
Yeah, it is.
And Super Bowl 60. I think it's 60. They had 50 and 60, but
yeah. So, what you think they want to sell us this go around? Matthew Stafford and Drake May.
They that's what they want.
Yeah,
especially with Bo Nix being injured now, they want Stafford and the Patriots because they can sell Stafford. They can sell the MVP, his first MVP. Now he want to get the ring to cap it off. They can sell the rebirth of the Patriots dynasty. And I mean, when you look at it, just geographically, you get both coasts, East and West Coast. So, I think that's what
that's what they want.
Yeah, that's what they want.
So they're going against our picks of Seattle and we got the Patriots in it, but we just going with Seattle instead. But hey, man, it's been real. College basketball season has been well underway, but we've been so occupied with football, NFL, and a little bit of the college game. Going forward, we got 2 football games left. Yeah. The 3 football games left. The 2 conference championship games and the Super Bowl, of course. Then we can turn our attention to March Madness going forward. Last but not least, LeBron James is not an all-star. Well, I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe somebody gonna give up they're gonna mic him like somebody gave up somebody gonna give up their shot, they spot to LeBron. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
And but that's part of the year we in. We going to the buckets part of the heading into March Madness and man, I guess NBA playoffs if we can fathom to watch it. But
Yeah, I've been paying attention.
baseball season is. I meant to say that earlier, but I can see you got that. I see you got it in the background. And Woods has done a great job. I must say, he's been very cooperative tonight. Shout out to Woods for cooperating tonight. I think I heard him in the background once.
Yeah.
Amazing. But hey man, NFC Championship games, Velus Jones and the Seahawks taking on the Rams, and Jarrett Stidham leading the Broncos against the Patriots. Two hell of a storylines.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We out. We done.